Welcome back to a war selection free-for-all. Now I've gotten a request a lot, Mongo, I'm looking at you, to use the Eastern hand cannons. And for this video I decided, I'm going to try them out. Now of course there is a lot more to this match, but the hand cannons is the one thing I want to show. And just to see how, how it plays out, or how I can utilize it more, because I never really use the hand cannon. The hand cannon, while it is a very good siege equipment, especially for East Asia, because East Asia has like no siege equipment, like no proper siege equipment. And a hand cannon is the only thing that makes anything worthwhile in this for East Asia, because it's just there's nothing really good. I mean, the spring load itself is a good siege unit, but it's just it can't destroy structures properly. The rocket cannon is completely inaccurate. So I decided to use the hand cannon to see how well that could be used as a siege unit. So right here, I do my standard Asian unit rush, just the standard types, hand rams or spears. Then I go ahead and go and attack red. Unfortunately, that doesn't go well. Kill quite a few workers though. After that, I decided, mobilize my forces again. Now, one thing I did do also is I also line my outer areas with towers. I probably should have put them inwards, but I was hoping these outer towers would just scare anyone that would try to like run in, or maybe you'll see towers and immediately back off. And the reason I did that was because of purple over here. Purple had a bunch of stables, and usually when someone has lots of stables, it usually means that they're going to cavalry rush. Now, who they're going to cavalry rush, I don't know, because it is a free-for-all, but, you can never be too sure. And as you can see, he is over there. He does have the cavalry, and he seems to be attacking both yellow and, particularly it's more of a green and an orange. So we're going to skip time a little bit. I do have something I also do is I take some junk ships and I decide to scout the coastline. I don't want to attack because I don't want to I do attack, but I don't want to launch a full-scale invasion onto the coast or bombard their coastline. Just yet, I just want to clear out the dock. The dockyards and stuff, just to have a preparation, so I don't have to worry later on that they somehow had 3 galleys and a siege ship just waiting for me. Because right here, as you just saw, I just put a bunch of hand cannons inside the chunks, and I knew exactly how to deal with purple, because I did not trust purple with those cavalry for him to show up here or something. So I didn't take a bunch of these hand cannons, and I just fill them up. I also take some archers just to act, just to give them cover, just in case he runs with them cav. At least the archers will be able to do something. So right here, I launch my attack, and right here is a good thing I had the archers here, but surprisingly the hand cannons made short work of those cavalry. Immediately went in, destroyed their stables. They do a lot of damage, surprisingly. They do 100 damage. Damn, that's actually pretty good for a siege unit. Especially the structures. But however, I'm not aiming for the structures. I want to go straight for town. Now, what surprised me is that he has a bunch of cavalry here. But I think he just walks away or something, because he doesn't utilize them. He utilizes these, but these were... I think he just went AFK here, which I'm kind of disappointed about. After that, you know, right there, take out purple. It took like 5 to 6 shots to take him out for 8 hand cannons. So I wouldn't use these for directly attacking temples themselves, but they do a lot of damage. So if you want to take out something like, you know, the stables, houses, you know, all other buildings and structures, they would be really, really good to use. So right there, purple is done. So I immediately put all my hand cannons back into the turret. I'm sorry, in the boats. Also, red also comes over here. Red, again. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this BS. What is this? Never mind the fact that he left the entire, you know, north of his base exposed, but he built like a secondary wall of just houses, and it surrounded the houses with another wall. I hate when people do this, just because it ruins your economy. It really does. When you build walls like this, it just ruins your economy. It's so bad. But I've already done rants about that in previous videos. Something I also do is I go ahead and I get Japan. I don't want to go China. There's a lot of metal, but I don't want to go China. And I put a bunch of more hand rams into the junk ships, but right here, red comes and attacks me. Now, luckily, I was prepared and got a bunch of towers here, but unfortunately, I just hit IR. So when you just hit IR, you can't build new you can't build new units. You can't build new towers immediately. It's when you go through the next age. So the towers that I have here is kind of all I have. I do go ahead and just spam out soldiers to try and mitigate the losses I'm about to suffer here. And I go ahead and just take all my workers just ahead of time, just away. It doesn't matter if he was like, you know, going to find them or not. I didn't trust it. But I did manage to get an arsenal up right before he attacked, and then get some machine gun towers. Now, unfortunately, my economy wasn't doing too great. But that did, when he saw that, he did back off. So. Now, fortunately for me, these are still Iron Age, you know, European horsemen against medieval structures. Now, I am Asia, so, you know, I don't have the complete advantage of damage resistance. But I had something. I also had some Ashigarus here that I forgot to call back because they were out clearing wild animals. And I decided to use the Ashigarus to, you know, chase them down. I didn't care the Ashigarus died. After that dilemma was taken care of, because it did, you know, he does retreat. I go ahead and go to my original plan and go back to these junk ships with hand cannons, and I don't know what to do at first. Maybe he had galleys or something, but I decided, you know what, screw it. I'm going to immediately land on his shoreline, and I'm going to do as much damage as possible. And this is where it gets a little bit sneaky. I take the junk ships, I land all the hand cannons, and I just let them loose. Just let them loose. Completely just said screw it to everything. And just completely bombarded. And immediately when his forces showed up, I immediately took back my my junks. I'm sorry, I immediately landed the troops back in the junks and took off. Now, unfortunately, I lost 2 junks with troops that were in them, like the hand cannons were in them when they sunk. So unfortunately, I lost them. And this one just got stuck. I couldn't move this junk. It kind of just got stuck in there. But oh well. I go ahead and went ahead and land and put a bunch of my remaining hand cannons right onto the shoreline and just barred his coast again. I fully expecting another attack, so I didn't stray too far. I put my archers up front, but I didn't realize. I was like wondering, why wasn't he attacking? And then I realized why he wasn't attacking. There was a much more pressing concern. And unfortunately, Red also quit, which I kind of disappointed about. I hate when people like get so far in the game and they just quit. It wasn't even a bot too, or at least I don't think it was a bot. Man, see, this guy went Russia because he has Russian soldiers, and also I just realized Red sent a bunch of chariots at him, thinking fully that he could do some damage, and then so I'm guessing he sent the chariots in, realized he couldn't win, and then just quit. Which is kind of ironic because I sent a bunch of Fugos at him. They were like, F you, Fugo. They're like, fuck you, Fugos. So, yeah. So this guy was not having a good day. I was wondering why he wasn't attacking, but I was like, he's probably being attacked by Orange, which makes sense why he wouldn't pull his troops back. So I just took my troops over here, and decided, you know what? Now's not the time, so I'm just going to prepare for the inevitable. But yeah, I use the hand cannons pretty effectively. Honestly, I could have done better, but the hand cannons, again, they are not the best siege unit. I'm sorry. They are better than anything else, but yeah, but it's just en masse. You have to have them like attacking a specific army. Or just like you have to like slowly move up. I noticed that a lot about like East Asian siege units. You have to slowly move up with your main force and let the siege units do their thing and then move up again. Let them do their thing, then move up again. And you need a lot of siege units too. So while hand cannons are incredibly effective at destroying everything else, they are and units, they are not good at, you know, launching any major offensive. You have to have like some sort of units or some sort of structures or walls to hide behind or keep them safe, really. Anyway, so I realized, you know, that this whole thing wasn't going according to plan. So I decided to take all my hand cannons. I didn't leave my junks. I put them all on a steamship, by the way, because I actually sent them back home, and then I got a steamship, so that way I can build this little outpost that was here. That's here. And I ended up getting, look at them. Look at a boar, a gator, and a tiger. What can beat that? Absolutely nothing. Anyway, I decided to send the hand cannon just like straight up front. I didn't even care about their lives, because, oh well. And then I decided to, you know, prepare myself because I knew this wasn't. I knew like as soon as I saw this, because this guy actually had some trouble, as you saw. He had some trouble just getting through Purple's base because Purple still had all his units, and he actually had pulled back. And he probably saw this too, because you see, you know, here's the Death Scythe, and here's the light tank. And like, what would you do if you saw a bunch of hand cannons just walking straight toward your base, and you don't have any defenses either? So I just sent them up, and they're just marching. And look at this. He actually goes out of his way to get some heavy artillery, too. And he's IR2. Meanwhile, I'm still IR1. I'm still going to IR2 right now, as you can see. So I decided to, you know what? I'm just going to do this the slow way, because there is no way I'm going to beat this guy if I try to, like, rush anything straight at him. Because he's not only IR2, but he's also probably has more resources than me. As we're gonna check actually real quick. Actually, no, he doesn't. He actually has a lot of food, but he's actually spending a lot of resources on wood and metal. Wow, he is spending a lot of resources, surprisingly. His base isn't even that big. He doesn't have enough workers, I think. Yeah, he doesn't have enough workers. Meanwhile, I have a lot of workers. My economy is fucking soaring. Damn. Oh well. So anyways, he decides to launch his attacks, and I decided to launch my attacks. Problem with the difference between my attack and his attack is the fact his has a lot of infantry, whereas mine has a lot of like range artillery, because I have like, you know, light trench mortars, howitzers. I'm gonna get some light tanks later, but his units are way better than mine. Russia has way better units than Japan does, unless you're at sea. Then Japan has the better units. But I see Russia has way better. These T-34s were just so annoying. They really were. Look how much I'm throwing these trench mortars at this T-34, and it's doing barely any damage too. Like, I don't have the trench mortar upgrade yet, but even then, it's just doing so. I'm doing so little damage to these T-34s. T-34s are insane, man. Luckily, I did have this forward base here. Look at this, he even has Russian grenadiers. Now, something I do try to do is I try to take a wild guess and hope this works. And guess what? It works. I sent a Fugu at him and just drops it on his T-34 because it didn't move. I 100% expected him to move it, but he didn't move it, so it kind of helped me a lot. He also moves his rocket launcher up, although I think that was an accident. Because usually if you do an attack move, the artillery is kind of dumb sometimes, and just like, even if it can see it, it still won't fire at it. It'll just like slowly move towards it until it gets like close to it. Then it backs up all the way just to fire at it. So you really have to be careful with these rocket launchers and just other artillery pieces. Anyways, you see he goes back. He pulls his troops back. Because duh. He lost all his frontline units. I'm forced to pull back too because I have no units left. I start making more barracks, some airfields, and also get again, like I said, to get factories, get some light tanks up. But I have virtually no troops whatsoever. Plus, like, my forward base needs to be protected so I can keep sending Fugos at him. Just to keep him on his toes, really, because as you can see, look at this right here. He lost a barracks right here because a Fugo came. And while Fugos are really, really weak to anti-air because they're just basically balloons with like small air balloons you can shoot down with a pea shooter. As you see, these artillery just making short work of these Fugos. They are still incredibly deadly. Because even if it's just one accident lands, because they still do damage. Watch this. Watch this. Oh no! Oh, I thought it would hit the IS-2. Never mind. But even if that had fell down because it was destroyed, it still would have just completely taken out this IS-2. Or almost did, at least. Actually, hold on. I want to see something. Will this work? Right there. Yes, it is. He actually kills. It kills a bunch of his partisans, or no, soldiers and partisans actually. Anyways, I sent the Fugos out, and I sent them over here because I thought, you know, he had a bunch of workers here still. I just go out and I just basically aim at everything with these Fugos. Like, this was like the side of the left. This is like left side. I think these go after the, you know, the tower and stuff. And again, I send more Fugos at him. Like, no reason whatsoever. I'm just sending Fugos just to buy myself time to get myself troops. Unfortunately, though, Fugos, when you send them on mass like that, it really crunches your economy. Because if you look at my food, like, I had 10k, and now I only have 1k. And I still have tons of work. I have 33 workers just on food. And I still have all these fishing boats. Still got 9 fishing boats. Gathering food. But I see right here a bunch of my Fugos landing here because I thought his workers were here because I saw some trees that were being cut down. Problem was, the workers had long since taken down this tree line because that's how long the Fugos take. They take so long to reach their targets. So you really have to, like, if you want to use them, you better use them like right then and there because it just really does take so long for them to get to their target. Now, luckily though, even if they, like, since you can send them on mass, they'll eventually, you know, hit their target. Like, even with all this AA, they're still somewhat hitting their target. Watch this one. It might actually hit, and this one actually might destroy this tower here. Yep. Even on, like, just on mass, these Fugos still will hit their target, even when shot down. Anyway, right here, I decided to stop saying Fugos because I realized it was, you know, just crunching my economy. But although they were surprisingly effective, despite everything. So I decided to go ahead and launch my own attack. Unfortunately, I had some minor trouble with this area because, yeah, right here. I realized that I was basically a sitting duck when that happened. Like, especially when that shot came, I was like, yeah. I tried pushing forward to try and, you know, outrun the rockets, but yeah, it wasn't happening. And actually, look at this Fugo right here. Boom, kills a bunch of partisans. I do eventually see some troops, and look at this. I launch a barrage, like huge barrage. But then this happens, and I realize at this moment, like right there, look how many soldiers just died, just transporters just died from a single rocket attack. Now, these rocket launchers are not accurate in the slightest, but they, but get 2 or 3 of them, they'll hit their target eventually. They're only really good with infantry and like light structures. They are not good with like single structures. Like if there's like a lone tower, you might as well just destroy the rocket launcher because it's never gonna hit that one tower. But on like mass groups like this, yeah, there's like, especially China, like these rocket launchers would be amazing units against anything China, because like China needs like send troops en masse, but if you just get some rocket launchers up and just constantly barrage an area where they're coming from, yeah, I could definitely see this work. I also set up this little outpost here, so that way it prevents him. Like if he try to do anything from the sea, I'll know, because this is the only, you know, coastline he can get me from. I kept this battleship here just in case, and it does come effective later down the line, but not really. So, oh well. Ooh, look at this Fugo. Oh. More Fugos. Yeah, the Fugos don't make it at all. I send a light. This light tank just gets sent over for some reason. Anyways, I decided to start my own little. I started to set up my own outpost. And I decided, yeah, there's no way I'll be able to break through this guy because he had so many IS-2s. Now, these IS-2s are just impossible to destroy. They are basically like a mouse, but for Russia. These IS-2s literally have 50.2 average armor thickness. 50.2 and 120 damage. Now, they cannot die. They are just almost impossible. You need to send waves upon waves. Just destroy one. These just two IS-2s. It's just you can just send them into the front lines and they just won't die. But this guy did make a serious error when getting these IS-2s. He made too many IS-2s. Now you're just wondering, like, what? You just said IS-2s are just basically can't die. And yes, that's true, but the problem is, it takes 9 seconds for them to shoot. 9 seconds for these tanks to shoot. And they do a lot of damage, but they just take way too long to shoot. They will sit there forever shooting. Now, if he had combined these with, like, if he had taken, like, these two IS-2s and then some T-34s on the side, yeah, definitely, like, they would have been an unstoppable force at that point. But the problem here is the fact I had a bunch of artillery just launching attacks on him, like, constantly, as you see, like, huge waves of units. Now, he does keep them moving, so it's kind of hard for my trench mortars to actually shoot. Shoot them. But luckily, trench mortars have a spread attack, so even if I did aim at them, there was no, like, real... There was, like, a 50% chance it hit. Look at this. Look how much of a beating they are getting right now. I have light tanks and trench mortars just being thrown at this guy right now. Just throwing them at this guy. And look, they're just shrugging it off. He has so many. They're just shrugging off. Like, this one is only at... This one's like a little bit less than half. And this was like the first one. The rest of these that are in the back are just now hitting half health. It's just... It's a never-ending barrage. Now, luckily, he does send in his rocket artillery here and I destroy them. Luckily for me, because I guess he used an attack order. But you see, look at this. They're just... They are not going down. It took so long. I just destroyed one. And it took, like, this many units to finally just beat them into submission. The IS-2s are insane with their average armor thickness. Now, again, the main problem with the IS-2 is the fact of how slow it is at just shooting. It does a lot of damage. You can one-shot basically any form of infantry and just tank itself, really. But look at this. This is 4 light tanks just hammering it down. And finally, it took a fucking trench mortar to finish the job. But yeah, look, all those IS-2s were finally destroyed, but that just hurt my units so bad because I just could not kill them. The entire time I struggled for so long to try and destroy those IS-2s. Now again, you do not want to use IS-2s en masse like that because of how long it takes them to, like, shoot and aim. And, like, you can keep them moving, but they're also so slow. So, like, any form of, like, if you would bring in, like, get some anti-tank rifles, yeah, there's no point of even moving them because there's IS-2s that just will not be destroyed. Now, for me, I decided to launch my own counterattack right here. Unfortunately, he was not giving up, and he had gotten a lot more rocket launchers, and he just decimated my trench mortars right here. Luckily, he had missed my light tanks, but my trench mortars were... Yeah, they weren't having it. They weren't having a good day, I'm sorry. Yeah, they weren't having a good day. Now, I do get some airplanes later down the line. But again, this fight takes a long time to do. This fight really does is a long time, because it just takes... He just has so many troops, and I mean, Russia is famous for just spamming out troops non-stop. No, unfortunately for him though, he didn't fix his economy, I guess. Because he wasn't like spamming out as many troops as I thought. But he does have a lot of factories, and he does get, and again, he gets some flamethrower tanks, which makes sense. Like when I saw him, I'm like, okay, so he knows. But at the same time, my trench mortars will actually do their best to avoid, because if they can't aim at the flamethrower tank, they'll run away from the flamethrower tank. So these flamethrower tanks, despite being a very smart move on his part, they weren't very effective. Oh, and here's the planes. I go ahead and try to take out these IS-2s over here. He does get smart and, you know, get some more T-34s back up, because those T-34s they're really good. I love the T-34s. They only have 10 less average armor thickness. Again, you know, he uses his flamethrower tank, but again, the IS-2 is really the one that does most of the work. And right here, you can see this flamethrower tank, and right here, like they are running away from the flamethrower tank because they can't actually aim at the flamethrower tank. Like this is not even me moving them back. This is literally just them, like, unable to actually attack the flamethrower tank, so they're running away from the flamethrower tank. Unfortunately, they get killed. They should have kept running. Oh well, they died for the Emperor. Again, he gets more IS-2s. He didn't learn the first time, but again, at the same time, I guess, you know, he kind of did learn, because these IS-2s are beasts. They really are just beasts of tanks. They take so long. Like, it was like I did get the upgrade later. Like, I think, yeah, right now actually. Yeah, I got the upgrade. So luckily trench mortars are doing more damage. But originally, when you saw that mass wave IS-2s over here, I didn't have the mortar upgrade. But now that I do, they are doing way more damage, so it's a lot nicer. So they're doing 120 damage actually. Yeah, that upgrade really does help, because they are doing, you know, more damage against these. They're doing the same amount for these IS-2s actually. And right here, I go ahead and take my battleship, and decide to just patrol the coastline just in case to see you guys. He left his flamethrower tank here. So I was like, oh yeah, I just use the battleship. I'm not gonna pull back my entire force to take out one tank. I'm just use my battleship. It does work, because he does take it out. Again, I sent some more Fugos, but unfortunately they weren't having it. I tried to go ahead and send my planes, but then I realized, yeah, it wasn't really worth doing that. So I decided to send these Sakura Blossoms instead, and that proved a lot more effective. Right there. I do try to take out these, like, I realized that if I can just, you know, take out these anti-aircraft guns, then I can just send more Fugos at him. Because at the time, that I knew the Fugos were being destroyed by anti-aircraft guns, but I didn't know on how effective, like how many I had to send at once to actually destroy it, to actually do real damage with the Fugos. So I thought that maybe if I just destroy a few anti-aircraft guns, Then the Fugos, I can just send the Fugos on mass and then aim at the rest of the anti-aircraft guns and whatever was left. Again, he starts spamming out units, mainly T-34s, because I guess it's starting to take a toll on his economy. He can't afford the IS-2s, and they're just taking too long to produce. Because IS-2s take a long time to produce. They really do. So you need a lot of factories to actually produce a bunch of them at once. I decided right here to go ahead and establish a third, or technically this is what? 1, 2, 3 is my third outpost. To get some more trench mortars, because at the time the trench mortars were walking all the way from my base to the front lines, and the factories are up here, so they were sooner, they were closer, and then the airfields. So yeah, I had to get some more trench mortars up fast, because while my population was constantly being capped out, I needed troops to the front lines faster. I see right here, I go ahead and decide to try and hurt his eco by sending some, a skirmish or a light raiding group of light tanks from this outpost. And right here, as you see, I take my battleship and just bombarded what coastline I could. Because he goes over here trying to collect this metal. Because he is running out of metal, luckily for me. And then I decided, right here, again, light tanks are they're just going to ambush and destroy as much as they possibly can on the outskirts. While my main force, focuses up front. I do right here, I get a heavy tank, a Japanese variant. Well, technically it's just the basic industrial variant, which is just different skin, but it works. It works. It doesn't last very long, but it works. It's literally actually this. Well, okay, so it's slightly worse than the IS-2. So it does the same damage, but it has 0.2 less armor thickness. So yeah, the IS-2 is so better than just this basic Japanese heavy tank. So that's interesting. Again, I launched some more air raids at his artillery, because those rocket launchers were just annoying. They weren't even effective, they were just annoying. Again, he tries to constantly counterattack, but it's just slow, but like, for me, I'm constantly moving up, slowly. And again, he gets more IS-2s, and he realizes my light tanks are here, and I was just destroying his little barracks over here, and he just noticed. But right here, look at this. The IS-2s are just, we're just tanking it. These T-34s too, also, they're just doing the damage. So the IS-2s are doing the tanking, and the T-34s were just doing the damage. Again, he's still making IS-2s because they're just so damage resistant. But again, you don't want to constantly make IS-2s with this kind of barrage. He really should have gotten more soldiers and then spread them out, or just flamethrower tanks, or just something that was anti-infantry, or infantry itself. You just hear him screaming. Rah, rah. Yep, but that's just GG right here. He quits. Man, that was insane. The Japan versus Russia right there. Oh yeah, I do break my rule and get wonder, by the way. But yeah, like he would have been a really good opponent against anyone else. But the problem was he didn't have enough workers producing, producing. While he did have a stable economy, he was so reliant on tanks rather than using Russia's greatest strength, and that is just constant waves of infantry. Because really, it really does help. If he had just gotten some Red Devils, Red Devils especially, would have just made a mockery of my units. They really, really would have. Because the like, if you just did mass Red Devils, oh, they could have decimated my light trench mortars. That would have just hurt. Like the light tanks themselves probably would have done something, like with combined arms, but I would need some machine gunners with that kind of mix. And then he should have gotten also some partisans. Should have spammed the partisans and gotten some soldiers, spam those guys out, and then get some T-34s and IS-2s in the back. Or maybe he shouldn't have done this. He should have taken some, Red Devils up front, it's like acts as the vanguard, T-30 IS-2s right behind them, with the soldiers and partisans and whatever artillery he had, behind those, and then on the very back some T-34s just to like do some flanking maneuvers. I feel like that would have been way more effective in my case, because I really was just spamming out trench mortars and light tanks, which is not a good combination. Because of just the sheer volleys I was sending at him, I think that was the only thing keeping him from continuing on. Because he really tried. He really, really did try to like keep pushing. But he should have just he couldn't have stopped. Like, I'm sorry, he shouldn't have stopped. Like, just stopping like that would just, and just allowing my trench mortars to just constantly bombard. Now, had he followed my trench mortars around and then just constantly shot them, yeah, definitely. Those the T-34s themselves, if he had done that with the T-34s, yeah, that would have definitely done some damage. And if we just send the if you just done some IS-2s and T-34s, actually, just send the IS-2s to the back, and then T-34s just do like the bulk of the fighting, and the IS-2s just do act as the raiding force essentially, or just the backline bruisers. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, and I'll see you all next time.